Hey everyone, Camille here from 88 Fitness Training. Welcome back. Today we're deep diving into the topic of lengthened partials for your back. So if you're trying to build that big wide back with that 3D muscle, as Miguel says, then definitely check out this video because lengthened partials is where it's at in terms of maximizing hypertrophy. So stay tuned, check it out. Y'all, when you're training back, it is such a big muscle group. I mean, think about it. You have your lats, which are probably like the biggest muscle on there. You got upper, mid, lower traps, rhomboids, rear delts. There's a lot going on. Even the rector spinae in the middle, right? So when you're training back, you really have to think about what you're training and how you're incorporating lengthened partials. So if you're not familiar with the topic of lengthened partials, it's super popular right now. There's a lot of studies going on and probably a lot more studies that have to be had to go into this topic. But lengthened partials is when you're training your muscles in the most lengthened state. And so that can be confusing. You know, if we're talking about lats, think about a lat pull down. When your arms are overhead, your lats are in the most stretched position they can be in. As you proceed down in the range of motion, you're placing them in the shortened position. So really easy way to think about it. When the muscle group that you're trying to train is stretched, in this case the lats, this is lengthened. So doing a lengthened partial just means coming down about 50% of the way, or maybe even less depending on what you're doing. We're going to talk about that as I show you some of my favorite exercises. Now, this isn't like a universal thing that you can apply to every exercise. Certain exercises will be better than others, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. All right, so let me start showing you some of my favorite exercises. The first exercise I'll show you is going to be a seated cable row. So find that low row cable machine at your gym. You can really do this with any bar. So I have a mag bar on here. I'm just going to sit back. So a full range of motion row would look something like this. Now with how I have this bar set up, this is really good for training that upper and middle trap, the rhomboids. Don't get me wrong, the lats are working, but this is probably not the most effective exercise for lats. Now a great way you can incorporate lengthened partials would be to just do a shrug on this. So instead of trying to keep the arms like in the equation and pulling back, you can just do a shrug, just like this. So everything's stretched out as my arms get closer to the cable tower, and then I just shrug back, squeezing those traps, those rhomboids, just like this. Now again, like I said, there's certain exercises that are better than others. Like coming 50% of the way, I'm getting a lot of bicep action. Like I really feel my biceps on this one. And I don't want to feel biceps. I want to put max tension on the back. So pulling it back into a shrug as the lengthened partial is a lot more effective in this particular case than doing that 50% range on the pull. So again, full range of motion, just like that, get a good stretch, come back, squeeze. You really want to go to failure on this, y'all. So as you're at that failure point, like, then you're going to go into your lengthened partials. So typically I would say only 4 to 6. In this case, I would say go ahead and hit your 10 to 12 reps or whatever your normal range of motion, rep range is. So great way to incorporate lengthened partials. Super nasty on those traps, y'all. Like you're gonna feel that mid-back area. So check this one out for sure if you're looking for that thickness to your back. The next exercise that I really love incorporating lengthened partials is just your typical lat pull down. So I got the straight bar on here. So I'm gonna grab it and then go through my full range of motion lat pull downs, just like this. So again, compared to the seated cable row we were just doing, This lat pull down is way more effective for working the lats through the full range of motion. And then same thing, as we start to get stuck, we fatigued, we can't hit that full range of motion, you can go into partials here, just like that. Even if you can only do the scapular retractions, go ahead and hit this. So it may be a little better in this case to hit that 50% range and get down as deep as you can in that 50% of the range. But if not, go ahead, same thing. Kind of depress those shoulders down and do those scapular retractions. The last exercise I'll show you where I incorporate this is going to be on your pull-ups. Y'all, I'm at like a fully bulked weight. I'm probably 25 pounds over stage weight right now. So doing pull-ups is hard. I naturally will fail after only a few, and this is where I incorporate that lengthened partial. So I'm still applying maximum amount of tension to my back, but I'm not able to fully get up into that full range of motion. It's still really effective this way. So let me show you what this looks like. So go ahead, hit your full range of motion pull-ups, just like that, and then do what you can. So come up half of the way. If you don't even have that, again, go into those scapular retractions, squeeze, just like that. You're guaranteed you're gonna feel this all around your lats, y'all. Around the shoulder blades, down into the lats, even the lower back area. So it's a really great opportunity to put tension onto those back muscles when they're really stretched out, which is great for hypertrophy. So definitely try this out if you're not already doing it. Like I said, pull-ups are hard for most people. If they're not for some reason, strap some weight to yourself, go to failure, and then hit those partials. When we're talking about incorporating lengthened partials into your back workout, from my experience, the best method to incorporate it is to go to absolute failure on your set and then do 4 to 6 lengthened partials where you're working up to 50% in that range of motion at the lengthened state. But there is different ways. Some people will like to do this as sets all by themselves. In my opinion, that's just a little too much fatigue and damage that you're gonna cause. And you'll notice this, like it is gonna totally wipe you out if you do every single set, lengthened partials and the like. So honestly, I would pick your top 3 exercises, your big mass building exercises, and incorporate them at the end of your sets for that, and then call it a day. And then another thing you really wanna consider is what is the exercise that you're picking? They're not all created equal. They're not all great for lengthened partials. A good example, bent over barbell rows or dumbbell rows. There's so much stability involved. You're probably not even going heavy enough to where it would be effective to do that lengthened partial unless you're doing a chest support row. Maybe you're on the incline bench or doing a seal row or something like that. But just keep that in mind, you know, be selective on how you pick those exercises. So the 3 I showed you are absolutely my favorites, right? So it's the seated cable row, really effective for hitting that mid back. The lat pull down, man, you're like hammering those lats and it naturally happens. It naturally, as you hit that fatigue point, you're not able to hit the full range, but you can still extend your set on by doing that 4 to 6 partials. And then the pull-ups. Pull-ups are nasty. I mean, 90% of people are probably gonna get fatigued and can't get over that, 10 to 12 rep range. And if you can, great, add weight and do lengthened partials. Or, in that case, maybe you do 1.5 reps. So maybe you hit your full range of motion on the pull-up and then do halfway, full range halfway, and then do your 10 reps that way, making it really nasty. But like I said in the beginning, a lot more research has to be done in this area, but from what they're finding, it can really maximize your hypertrophy up to about 5 to 10%. Increase your hypertrophy up to 5 to 10%, which if you're a seasoned lifter, 5 to 10% is huge, y'all. Like you'll take, a measly 0.5% if it means getting bigger. So let me know what you think. What are your favorite exercises for incorporating lengthened partials? And hopefully you've been enjoying this series. We've gone through most of the muscle groups by now. But as always, for more content like this one, definitely check out our back playlist. And definitely don't miss the opportunity to catch me and James live every Sunday at 12 Eastern. All right, y'all, till next time, Camille, 88 Fitness Training.